Hey guys, it's Kathy. Here I am. 1 second. Hey, how are you today? How are you? Let's do this. Today we're doing Eleanor Scott, and that's a pen name. That is not her real name. Let's get into it. Okay. Her real name. Sorry, just checking. Oops. Sorry about that. Just checking my volume and making sure you guys can hear me. Her real name. Let me fix this so maybe you can see me. I don't know if I can. We might not. We might not be able to do this. I'm not sure. I might need to wiggle this around off camera. I'm not sure. So her real name is Helen Madeline Lays. L-E-Y-S, not like Lay's potato chips, but sounds like Lay's potato chips, but it's spelled L-E-Y-S. And she's not even on Wikipedia, which is kind of shocking, actually. Like, I don't get that. How can she not be on Wikipedia? Let's see. Let's look her up again. Because I keep thinking, like, something's wrong with the way I typed it. I don't know. Like, why? How? And I've also found her name spelled differently. And it's spelled two different ways. One way is Helen. It's three names. Helen Madeline Lays. Sometimes it's spelled Madeline, M-A-D-A-L-Y-S-Y-N, like this, Helen Madeline Lays. And then other times it's spelled Magdalene, M-A-G-D-A-L-Y-N, I think. So if you can see here, like, perfect for a ghosty author because she's not even on Wikipedia. So, like, what is this? What all is this? This is crazy. She has, I think, I'm confused about this, actually. It's, like, a little confusing. I'm gonna, because I would have clocked that, you know, back when I was looking at, make sure the volume's down here. Back when I was doing the posts, like the so what did I put? Oh, Goodreads. Okay, so on all of these pages, I put a URL at the bottom so you could find more information, and usually it's Wikipedia because that's like the most obvious basic one that most people, you know, that you can find just about anything on Wikipedia, but no, you cannot find this author, which is kind of fascinating to me. And it actually is very, it's very fitting for her because she wrote a book that is called, what is it called again? It's an interesting title. It's called, let's look. Her book. No, that's not it. Hold on. Hold on, friends. Here, no, that's Elizabeth Gaskell. That's not her. What did I do with that? Let's go to Goodreads. Goodreads, Eleanor Scott. Okay, let's see. Randall's Round. It's called Randall's Round. I don't know what Randall's Round means, but let's go to Goodreads because they actually have like a little bit of information about her, which is great. So we have something that we can look at. So Eleanor Scott, 1892 to 1965, was born Helen Madeline Lays. So they're spelling it the newish way. I think the word Madeline is like In the oldie times, I think Magda. This is just all me guessing from what I've found, theorizing that Magdalene was how you used to spell Madeline, and then something happened somewhere in the 19th century or 20th century, because she died in 1965, which is like yesterday practically compared to the rest of these people, or to most of these ladies. Eleanor Scott, 1892 to 1965, was born Helen Madeline Leys in Middlesex, the daughter of John Kirkwood Leys, the barrister and novelist. Her early education was provided solely by her mother, Ellen, so she was homeschooled, who prepared both of her daughters for going on to Oxford. Or maybe her mother was just like a real tough customer, Maybe she was a hard teacher and she wanted to really... Cheers. Maybe she wanted to really, make them work hard to go to Oxford. After the Great War, Helen Leys became a teacher, later rising to the position of principal of an Oxford teacher training college. Her first short story to appear in print was The Room, which appeared in the Cornhill magazine in October 1923, credited to H.M. Leys, Helen Madeline Leys. In 1928, the first work bearing the pen name Eleanor Scott appeared, the controversial novel War Among Ladies, which was published by Ernest Benn. Her final novel, Puss in the Corner, was published in November 1934. So if she was born in 1892 and she died in 65, was she 72? I think 1965. She's 74 when she died? So if she died when she was 74, and her final novel was published in 1934 and she died in 1965, that means 30 years before then, 31 years before then, she quit writing, which takes us to, if she died in 74, then she stopped writing at age 44. So she wrote for a short time in her, that's not very long. That's an interesting time to quit writing, right? When you're 44? Or 43 or 44? That's wild. Randall's Round. Let's read a little bit about Randall's Round. But first, let me, maybe I should I have Siri read this to us? Because that would be nice. If we could get Siri to read this for us. So let me real quick go into my settings and do spoken content. One momento, please. One momento. One momento. Let's do Ava Enhanced. Funnily enough, I set this up on the phone last night. I thought, oh, maybe I'll have Siri read to us tomorrow. And I set this up on my phone. And, I set this up on my phone, and then what happened? What happened was it didn't, I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone to record. So that's not helpful, right? Okay. We're in Ava Enhanced now. So let's go to our screen. Come on, Siri, are you going to read this to me now? Siri. Just a minute. Speak screen. Okay, hold on. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Hold on. Let's get this going here. Okay, let's see.
To 1965, was born Helen Madeline Lees in Middlesex, the daughter of John Kirkwood Lees, barrister and novelist. Her early education was provided solely by her mother, Ellen, who prepared both of her daughters for going on to Oxford. After the Great War, Helen Lees became a teacher, later rising to the position of principal of an Oxford teacher training college. Her first short story to appear in print was The Room, which appeared in the Cornhill magazine in October 1923, credited to H.M. Lees. In 1928, the first work bearing the pen name Eleanor Scott appeared, the controversial novel War Among Ladies, which was published by Ernest Benn. None of Lee's books seem to have done terribly well. Her final novel, Puss in the Corner, which was published in November 1934, received favorable reviews, but faded into obscurity like her previous books. I believe that Lees also used the pseudonym Peter Redcliffe Shore, under which she wrote two mystery novels, both published by Methuen and Company, The Bold, 1929, and The Death Film, 1932. Randall's Round was first published in the autumn of 1929 by Ernest Benn, bound in black cloth with gilt lettering and priced at 7/6. A cheaper edition was published in 1931, as part of Benn's 3/6 library, in red cloth with black lettering. They are both so hard to find that I've never seen a copy of either up for sale. Ash Tree Press issued a limited edition in 1996, and that's the one I've read. See cover image right. According to the author's foreword, all of the stories in the collection were inspired by dreams. It may be that simply because these things were so terrifying I have failed to convey the horror I felt. I do not know, but I hope that some readers will at least experience an agreeable shudder or two in the reading of them. Well, I received a fair bit more than an agreeable shudder when reading these tales, I can tell you. The stories included in this collection are Randall's Round, The 12 Apostles, Salula, The Room, The Cure, The Tree, At Simulacre's Farm, Will You No Come Back Again, The Old Lady. All of the tales are good and creepy, and this is one of my favorite collections, so I like all of them, but I feel that 3 of the stories really do stand out. The first is Randall's Round, in which a fellow called Hailing pays a visit to Randall's, a small village in the Cotswolds. On his first night there, he hears children singing a folk song outside the inn where he is staying. Then a little later he hears the same tune being played on a flute as people congregate in the market square. In the center of the square stands a pole, with the shaggy hide of some animal thrown over it, with a heavy head and short horns. Men begin to dance. Then they form a ring facing outwards and begin to move in motions. It turns out that the dance used to be performed around Randall's Bank, a local tumulus formed by a long barrow, the dance's origin being almost certainly sacrificial. Hailing tries to get permission to explore the bank, but the owner will not give it, so he decides to dig there without permission. After dark, on All Hallows Eve, in The 12 Apostles, a wealthy American by the name of Matthews buys Barton Cross Manor. Wanting to know if the house is haunted, he is taken to see Mr. Molyneux, local vicar and antiquarian, who tells him the story of Sir Jerome, the private Catholic chaplain of the squire of the manor during the early reign of Elizabeth I. Jerome was a chemist, credited with witchcraft and demonology, and following his death in 1562 there were strange happenings on the day that he was buried. Some years later, the manor was sacked, and a treasure seeker was found dead in the passageway close by Jerome's room. Not put off by the history of the house, Matthews decides to go hunting for that missing treasure, at night, in the dark. In Selula, Maddox is staying in Kerouac, on the Breton coast, with the local curate. He is taking his usual evening walk along the beach when he encounters a stanch figure who is digging in the sand with its hands. Maddox approaches, but the figure runs away at speed. He investigates and finds a small box, covered with carvings, that contains a piece of parchment. Once back at the curate's house, Maddox reads the Latin contents of the parchment aloud. If you're familiar with the stories of M.R. James, and if you're not, you should be. This one will call to mind "Oh, whistle, and I'll come to you, my lad." As I said, I've never seen a copy of the first or second edition for sale, so your guess is as good as mine when it comes to the price of those. The Ash Tree Press edition sells for around £120 in fine condition. That's about $195 at the moment. There is, however, a new paperback edition by Oleander Press that costs less than £10. I can't vouch for the quality of the paperback, as I've not read it. I bought this from a reputable ephemera dealer a while back, and it is apparently Eleanor Scott's autograph. I can't find another to compare it to, so I currently have no way of verifying that. The paper's the right age, and it looks like it was removed from some autograph hunter's scrapbook.
Thanks, Siri. Or Ava. Poor, degraded sensualists, like myself, this is the quote we're doing, believe in the motto, live and let live. It was hard finding quotes for her. This one resonated, and then there was a spookier one. The spring was in his blood like a madness. But I didn't have the context because it's not connected to a story. I mean, it is, obviously, it's from a story, but in terms of just the quote standing on its own, I didn't really think that it was standing on its own, really, even though it was very, visual and kind of poetic. I just didn't, I didn't have an immediate, thought of, except for some blood. I could do some blood, but I didn't want to do that. It only, I feel, connects when, for me it wasn't connecting because I didn't have context within that quote. So we're doing this one, and I just want to get back to the live so I can see the screen, see where we are. Poor degraded sensualists like myself believe in the motto, live and let live. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Got my coffee. So, yeah, it's a little unfortunate that couldn't find more on her. I even looked on LibriVox, the free book site. I figured they might have, because Randall's Round, which is her Supernatural Tales book, it seems for an author that doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, it's I was able to find, some stuff. Like, it is on Goodreads. So that's something, But yeah, not a lot of luck, not a lot of luck. So I'm just going to work on these words a little bit, letters, before diving in to the rest. I'm feeling like in the motto, is a little disconnected because the lettering doesn't look quite similar. So I'm just going to try and connect it a little bit in that way visually. So with her writing, I just couldn't locate something that I felt like I could really like sink my teeth into in terms of visual, like iconography or just different, thematically. So I'm just going with, I'm just going with the flow here. Live and let live. Cheers. Live. Let's do poor degraded sensualists like myself. Believe in the motto. Live. Let's do that. Let's bring you closer. I have you very far away today. That's not right. What's up with that? So last night I put a t-shirt into my shop of day 5's quote, and I'm really excited to order one and wear it. So I thought I would share it with you. It's the Catherine Crow was the writer of day 5's Inktober, and the art is a very long quote about children and ghosts, and I just thought it would work very well on a t-shirt. So I did put it on a t-shirt and I colored it in, but I think I want to do a version that's just black and white because I have a special appreciation for white ink on a charcoal black t-shirt, charcoal black heather. That's sort of my go-to. That's really what I like to wear. So a lot of the time, that is what I wear. So I thought that I would do that. And I'm glad I'm going to do it after I put it in my shop because it's kind of like already in there now. So I was trying to adapt it to an all white version. And when you're designing t-shirts, you have to think about, obviously, right? You're thinking about the color of the t-shirt and how that can amend the design or be used as, coloring instead of the ink, like how you can use the t-shirt. And there's a lot of like spooky faces in the design, and it was throwing me off a little bit, but that was not my point of contention. My real point of contention was that I'm learning Affinity Photo because I quit being an Adobe subscriber recently, like last week, and I have not fully dove in yet to the work that I would be doing if I if I didn't. So I'm not up to speed completely on not even almost completely. I'm getting there because it's the learning curve is not bad. Especially, you know, being like Photoshop native person. It's really not. Great programs, by the way. Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer. I also have Affinity Publisher, which I believe is their InDesign equal, but I don't use it. So, or I haven't used it. I mean, I wasn't using InDesign a lot, so, or really much at all. So because of that, that's not really my focus at all. My focus is Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer. And, you know, I found some good stuff on YouTube that is really just what I needed. Like I didn't need, or I don't, not at least not yet, for what I need it for. I don't need like a class per se. I need a video to walk me through it and to show me, you know, examples here and there. So that's what I've been doing. And I was able to color the whole design yesterday. I'll show it to you real quick. Hold on. I colored the whole design yesterday in Affinity Photo. So here's the design. This is it. And I think this would look great in white ink on a, you know, charcoal black heather t-shirt. But you see these faces, this face, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, maybe some of these pumpkins. There's a skull, there's a skull, there's a little owl, the moon. So there's places where I would need to pop out white. And I can do that now because I have worked in Affinity now, so I feel confident that I know how to do that now. Whereas, you know, it was a little bit of pulling teeth to get me there. You know, gotta watch some video. Had to watch some videos. I don't have to, but I'm still watching them. But I'm still learning a lot. And hopefully we'll just continue to improve with Xfinity. What am I talking about? Xfinity? Affinity. See, this is like how my cable part of my brain and my internet part of my brain is getting combined with my graphics app part of my brain. I'm calling it Xfinity instead of Affinity. But I'm very glad to be free of Adobe. It's not real yet because I'm very confident with Affinity and I'm excited about it. But you know, I haven't like taken a breath yet to be like, awesome. To jump for joy. You know what I mean? Live and let live. All right, let's do this. Let's do live. We are dip penning extraordinaire today. Live and let How's that? Okay. Now I'm just going to tie in some of the stylistic bits from earlier in the piece. I will say, this looks like a tongue of a snake, and I don't know if I like that or not. Like, does it work? Does it not work? Why is it why is it a tongue of a snake? How did that happen? I'm just emphasizing the eyes, so just to make things easier to read, really. Poor degraded. I think some drops might be cool on this. I don't have like a whole lot of ink though. I got my little pointy pen here, so let me get something to drip with. Let's get some drips going. That's good. Poor degraded sensualists. Oh, I like that. Nice. We still got to do her. We still got to do her name. So I don't want to do too many drips yet. I'm going to pull you out a little bit because I think you might be missing some of this. Okay. There we go. You know, it would be great, but I don't have a glove handy. Ooh. I would very much like to do... Should we do this? Oh, I don't have any water handy. Hold on. Let me grab some water. Okay. All right. We got a little water. I'm going to grab a skinny... I'm going to grab a skinny brush. A little... This one. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Maybe like do some fun, confusing little lines to make it look like... Test it out. Ooh, I like that. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm liking this. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, just so you can really kind of get down on the table with me here. And I believe this brush I'm using is a liner brush. It's a Princeton Select liner brush. I highly recommend doing this. It's really fun. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. Check that out. Oh, I forgot to write our name. I gotta write our name down there. And I gotta do it quick because we're gonna run out of room. And then it's gonna be a sad thing because this is like all, ooh, this is all to bring more attention to female horror and Gothic authors. of the 18th and 19th century because they didn't get their due, you know? They did not get their due. So we're here to give it to them. So let's write. I'm actually going to use, instead of the brush pen for this part, the very bottom, we're going to do her name. I'm going to have to be careful because I get a lot of splatty ink now to deal with right around here. But I'm going to do Helen Madeline Lays, aka Eleanor Scott. It's so funny that when I first chose, her to be the 14th, right? Prompt, the day 14 prompt, I did not know that Eleanor Scott was an alias. So Helen Madeline. I'm going to write Magdalene because that's what I've seen a lot. Lays, aka Eleanor Scott. And then we can flourish on that if we want to. And we will, because I just dragged out that T. So let's also drag out this H a little bit. All right, let's go in with our liner and some of our ink here. Lays. Getting confused here. Helen Magdalene Lays. Eleanor Scott. Let's do that. That's cool. The H kind of looks like it's being dragged a little bit like that. Okay. A little more water. Let's do some more ink dragging. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. Ink is so fun to play with. It's really a blast. Look at that. Cool. Awesome. I think we're good. I love this. I love it. I love the vibe. I love the feel of it. I think I did a decent job of bringing things together. I mean, I could sit here and play all day on this, you know. I could sit here for hours and just do this. But I don't want to, you know, I don't want to overdo it. It's a fine line, right? And usually, when I say I'm done, I'm not really done, because here I am, sitting here scribbling on it, but I think I should, because I think I should be done. Just gonna look at it with an eye towards, you know, consistency with the design elements here. A little more down here. All right. Let's add some water. When all else fails, just add some water and you get some really cool effects with your ink. Very cool. All right, I think we're good. Poor degraded sensualists like myself. Oh, you know what would be cool? Oh yeah, you know, famous last words, you know what would be cool? If we actually do bring in a little bit of this line work into our letters, like some of this wacky, wild, like that. And then maybe just like on the edges, like here, might be a good one. There we go. And then pour is so straight. It's so straight-laced. Let's change that. It's a little too straight-laced for me. There we go. All right. And then where else can we do such a thing? How about down here? That. I actually like how this looks kind of snaky. Oh my gosh! It legitimately looks like a snake right there. I'm going to do a little turn on this here like that. There we go. Ooh, that's very snaky feeling. I love that. And I think up here, I'm going to make it feel like, some blood vessels, because, or like trees-ish. Trees-ish or blood vessels-ish. I love it when your art talks to you and it's like, you know what would be cool? Do this. Does this remind you of this? Do this. That is what I like. Especially when doing like quotes like this. Like when you give things room, right? To breathe a little bit, and maybe you don't tell them what you're going to do right away. And you just sort of let it evolve, you know? You can get some really cool little ideas and things that just jump out, right? I'm just adding some little bits of smudge. Just adding a little smudging. Little smudges. I think I'm on a really good track right here of keeping this to an hour, and I don't want to break my hot streak because I think it's a wise move if I can do it. You know, I'm not usually successful with that, and I have been this week so far, yesterday and today. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Almost there. I feel like we're almost there. I feel like we're in really good shape here. We are getting there. And I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. with our next quote, which will be, let's look it up. Our next quote tomorrow is going to be, come on. What's our next quote going to be? Trying to ask. I'm trying to ask my computer. All right. Our quote tomorrow is going to be Anne Radcliffe. I think she is on Wikipedia, which is good. I think she is somebody that is a little better integrated. Is this just wishful thinking? I hope not. I hope I'm right about that. I think I am. This is a lot of fun. I suggest grabbing some ink, some water, a little liner brush like this, and just go to town. You know, maybe what I'll do for a quote in the future is really start out and do it this way, because it's very fun and intuitive to use an actual brush. I mean, it requires a little bit more, gotta pay more attention, because I don't want to get everything all inky, like my hands and stuff. But it is very satisfying to make these lines. It is very fun. And I recommend it. So thanks for coming today, and thanks for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with Anne Radcliffe, and I'll be back at 12:30 Eastern today to do another page in my Night Garden Fairy Cats series. I'm working on a new coloring book, Night Garden Fairy Cats. And there is a playlist on my channel. You can watch them. It's Procreate Art, so if you like to watch Procreate Art, and if you like black line art, it might be for you. I might even venture to say that it is for you. So, but you know, check it out. Let me know what you think. And I will be back at 12:30 to do another one of those. Another page. Every day I do another page of my coloring book. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to stop now, finally. Here's our final. Poor degraded sensualists like myself believe in the motto, live and let live. By Helen Magdalene Lays, aka Honor Scott. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.